If you want to start traveling more with your family, this podcast is for you. Welcome to Wanderwise, a family travel podcast. I'm Megan Whitley Medlin, a mama of 4 with a serious case of wanderlust. Traveling with kids presents many challenges, but with the right tools in your toolbox, you can create unforgettable memories. Whether you enjoy exploring U.S. national parks or international destinations, this podcast is your ultimate resource to inspire your travels and help you craft well-thought-out itineraries for your family's next big adventure. Get ready to plan smarter and wander wisely. Your next adventure starts now. Hey there! Welcome to Wanderwise, a family travel podcast. I'm Megan, your host, a mom of 4 with serious wanderlust. I'm an experienced family traveler, toting these 4 kids around the USA and international destinations. We are not a travel family. We both have full-time jobs. The kids are involved in sports and activities with school, so we really try our best to travel during school breaks and utilizing long weekends, times that they have off of school, and of course, summer break. That's not to say that we haven't ever taken our kids out of school for a vacation, but I just kind of want to preface this whole podcast with the fact that we are not an extensive travel family. We just do it as much as we can, and that's what works for our family. So whether you are a full-time travel family and are looking for inspiration for your destination, or if you are here to gain some insight on a destination or tips with traveling with kids, I am so excited to have you here. My goal is for you to be able to have lots of takeaways that make your travel with kids easier, less stressful, a lot more fun, and to help you to maximize the time that you do have when you are in a destination. If I had to guess, you've probably experienced this scenario where you are so excited and pumped up to plan a family vacation, but as soon as you start getting into the research and you're going down the rabbit hole and you're getting overwhelmed with all the options, not only with the destination choice, but then, okay, how do we get around? How do we navigate? And now we're going to take our kids and we're going to try to navigate this new city. The logistics of all of that, it gets very stressful and overwhelming. If that sounds familiar to you, or if you can relate to that at all, this is the place for you to be. And we're going to have lots of episodes dedicated to making your travel with kids much simpler. I know you want to make amazing memories with your family and to be able to bring your kids along and give them a sense of wanderlust also, and letting them experience a new destination, a new culture, new foods, how to navigate in a new place. These are all lessons that kids are going to pick up on kind of by osmosis, just by being there with their parents or caretakers, is seeing how you handle being in a new place and trying to figure it out on your own. So all this to say, those amazing memories are just right around the corner, but it's a lot of work to get all those details figured out. So if you're feeling a little stressed out or a little overwhelmed, that is totally 100% normal. It's not a reason to throw in the towel on this family travel. So that is another highlight that will be throughout the podcast, is how to make the whole logistic plan simpler and manageable with kids. I'm here to help you plan smarter, to travel easier, and discover new destinations that your whole family will love. When you're traveling with kids, you want and you really need to have a plan in place that allows everyone on the trip to have a great time. And that includes your 3-year-old who is going to have a meltdown if you are on hour 6 of a tour in a museum. I will know this from experience. You want mom and dad to be happy, but you also want to allow the kids to actually enjoy this experience. And so I'm going to give you some tips and insights on how to eliminate some of those future meltdowns. Each week, we will dive into different destinations and highlight how to plan to that certain destination, why someone would want to travel to that destination, who would enjoy that destination. And that's going to be a wide focus of different destinations. My family really enjoys national parks. We have visited 42 together out of 63, so we're well on our way to getting all of those under our belt. And there's so much to be said about those national park trips, but I do feel like it's really important, if you're able, to take kids out of the country and let them experience entirely new cultures, new modes of transportation. And so we're going to have lots of destinations on this podcast. I'm also going to be providing loads of insider travel tips from experience, and then, share my mistakes that I have made with our family and kind of how I would do it differently. And then we'll have more expert advice. I plan on having some guest spots, people that are in the travel world or other travel families that will be insightful to listen to, and all of that to make planning your family vacations easier, more enjoyable, and exciting. So I'm really going to lean into the itineraries, and from the places we've been, kind of break down what that planning process was like. But that can be used for lots of different destinations. Not only will we be highlighting the different destinations, but I'm going to cover logistics, what time of year that would be good to travel to those destinations, finding family-friendly accommodations, places that have been great, places that have not been great, things I would do differently, how to navigate long-haul flights with kids, and a huge focus on making the most out of school breaks with the long weekends, the Easter breaks, winter breaks, summer breaks, and utilizing that time frame. I want you to be able to walk away with actionable ideas that make your travel smoother and more enjoyable for everybody. I know how difficult it can be and how overwhelming it can be to travel with kids, just the thought of it. But I don't want that to be what holds you up from seeking out these unique locations and taking those trips and making the memories, because at the end of the day, that is what we're left with. That's what our kids are going to remember. So it's extremely important that we don't let that overwhelm kind of lock us into always going to the same place every year, or prevent us from going anywhere new entirely. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I love hearing from other families who travel and what their experience was, because that helps us that helps me as I'm planning. I try to get as much resources as I can from, blogs and YouTube channels, and I try to stay away from the Instagram like fantasy, because I know that's like the highlights. I want to hear the nitty gritty and hear from someone's stories that I can use their possibly mistakes or their inspiration and itineraries to build our own trips. And so when I was trying to find a very relatable podcast for families, that means adults who frequently travel with their kids, I just felt like that space was lacking. And with my experience of lots of travel with kids, from packing up a family, doing all the planning and keeping everybody organized and happy and well fed, from road trips to international destinations, I just feel like I will be able to provide a lot of value to other families. So each week, I will be going through different topics, like the ones I've talked about here, and basing each episode on that topic. So if you are always looking for tips and insight for your next family trip, be sure to subscribe and follow along with this podcast so you don't miss an episode. And I would so appreciate if you could share this podcast with your other travel buddies and travel besties so that we can grow this community of families who really want to give their kids these experiences in seeing all of the amazing places this world has to offer. I would so appreciate that support, especially as a new podcast. I do have a private travel Facebook group, and I am active in that group every single day. I share tips, tricks, highlights, destinations, resorts, and just some fun chatter. It's a great group. I would love to have you there. I will link that group in the show notes. And if you are looking for assistance with planning your next trip, I do offer complimentary travel consultations via my calendar link. I work by appointment, and I help families every day either decide where they're going to go, what time of year they're going to go, the itinerary itself, and navigating logistics. So I would love to work with your family to get you to your next destination. A little background on me. I have a hospitality and tourism degree, and I became a travel advisor a couple of years ago because I was always being asked to help others plan their own trips, and I just get such a thrill and a joy seeing families and individuals experience a new destination. It's such a unique opportunity to assist others in, honestly, their greatest stories. So it comes from the heart. I am so excited to begin this podcast, be able to help others that are outside of my reach. I want to help as many people as possible. And if the overwhelming feeling of not knowing about a destination or how to get there or how to choose or to budget for it, if that is what is stopping someone from taking these incredible trips, I am looking forward to providing some assistance by way of podcast. So that's a little bit about me. That's a little bit about why I started this podcast, what episodes we'll be covering, and it's just going to be so much fun. I could talk about travel all day long, so what better format than this podcast? Thank you for listening this far. Until next time, wander wisely. Thanks for joining another episode of Wanderwise. I hope you're feeling inspired to plan your family's next unforgettable adventure. Join the community in my private travel Facebook group, linked in the show notes, for more travel tips and ideas. If you'd like a customized plan for your next vacation, fill out the form in the show notes to get started. Until next time, wander wisely.